Hello. I'd like to talk to you now about how you can properly use emotional content in your work. Since you and your reader both have feelings, you're both human people, emotional content seems unavoidable. However, if you're careful, you can use it in a way that respects both the feelings of your reader and your feelings. Without that mutual respect between writer and reader, communication can't happen, and so it's a good idea to consider how to build that respect, in some ways through careful use of emotional content. To begin, I should confess that I, like most readers, distrust most emotional content. I've seen a lot of TV ads, and that feeling of being yanked around by my heartstrings makes me immediately distrust any message that gives me that feeling. In your assignments, in your arguments, you can counteract that distrust by showing empathy, which we can define as feeling as someone else. For example, when a person says, "I feel your pain," that person is showing empathy. When you show a reader that you share his or her feelings, rather than telling your reader what to feel, you give that reader a better chance to understand why you're making your particular claim, and thus a better chance to agree with you. When you meet your reader on common ground, the agreement becomes easier, and then you have less work to do. You can also try to overcome a reader's distrust of emotional content by practicing sincerity. That is to say, you can honestly and objectively describe your feelings about the claim your argument makes. Showing your reader the sincerity of your beliefs can help your reader develop sympathy, which we can define as feeling with someone else. For example, when you say, "I know how you feel," you're demonstrating sympathy. When presented carefully, your sincere feelings can help a reader sympathize with the intellectual argument you're offering. And let me remind you that it's vital to offer an intellectual argument along with any emotional content you might also offer, and thus your reader's sympathy with your argument can help your reader perhaps give that argument more careful consideration. Now, I want to emphasize the importance of using emotional content carefully. When you try an emotional appeal, you want to make sure not to give your reader that jerked around feeling. Readers, as I say, distrust and are on the lookout for emotional content, and so they will judge your sincerity and your ability to show empathy or sympathy. I strongly suggest caution when you use emotional content. Using these ideas of empathy and sincerity, you can show respect for and get respect from your reader. And as I say, this mutual respect is absolutely vital for actual communication. I hope that this lecture will help you to more confidently and properly use emotional content in your own work to help your reader develop a better relationship with you and your argument. As always, thank you for your time and attention.